Welcome to another Liquid Bullet Productions. Michael Peterson, aka Charles Bronson. Now, a few of our followers have requested some content on the man the British press dubs the most violent or notorious prisoner in the UK. There's a lot of glamorisation, hero worshipping and idolisation that goes on with Charles Bronson, and personally I do not understand it. So let's take a look at some facts. So if we go back to 1974, a 22-year-old Charles Bronson was sentenced to 7 years in prison for armed robbery and has hardly spent a day outside since then. So pretty much for the last 48 years he's been in prison, and it's all been through his own actions. So Michael, or Charles as we now know him, started getting into trouble around the age of 13 years old when his family moved to Ellesmere Port in Cheshire. He was part of a gang that was out committing robberies. As well, throughout his teenage years, he had lots of menial jobs that never ever lasted long. He had one at Tesco's that lasted a fortnight until he actually attacked his manager. And all the while he was still involved in petty crime, and he was out at night fighting in the streets. In 1971, he met Irene Kelsey, who went on to become his wife, and they had a son together. Now, Irene describes Charles as so different from any other boys I knew. He always wore a tailored suit and had perfectly groomed sideburns and a Cockney accent. Whilst Charles spent most of the 70s incarcerated, this is where he went on to meet and become good friends with the Krays. And it was on the advice of Reggie Kray that he became a bare-knuckle boxer in the 80s. So it was during a stint in Wandsworth in the mid-70s that he first became subject to a direct transfer order under the Mental Health Act, and he was sent to Broadmoor and then Rampton, where he was forcibly medicated. But he also found himself surrounded by some very dangerous and mentally unbalanced patients. So over the years Bronson's been incarcerated, his sentences have been increased each time due to the attacks that he's made, until he's ended up doing a life sentence. And all the attacks have been made on prison guards, or other inmates or staff members. Now, rumours circulate that all of his attacks were made on nonsense Rule 43 prisoners. Now, I've checked and I can only find one report that involves a child rapist, which was John White, and it was in 1978 in Rampton Hospital, where he tried to strangle him with a silk tie. The guy actually had the death rattle coming, and only by the grace of God, well, maybe not for somebody like him, did the silk tie snap, and that was the only reason why he didn't kill him. So probably the most infamous siege that Bronson was involved in was the hostage situation with the two Iraqi hijackers and another prison inmate. He threatened to break their necks. He even said he was going to eat them, and he made demands for a plane to take him to Libya. And the whole time this was going on, he had those guys tickling his feet and calling him general. And he also made the crazy demand for ice cream as well. Strange. So Bronson's personality swings between violence and creativity. He's a published author and he's an avid artist, and a lot of his fans that write to him, when they get a reply, will actually get a small piece of artwork sent back. And I believe there was about 100 pieces of his artwork were sold back in 2014, and from one of the sales he donated money to a small child who had some sort of disability, but I can't really remember what it was. Which goes to show he's not all bad. And look, the prison system hasn't been kind to Charles Bronson either. I think it's 120 times upwards he's been transferred. So that's quite regular. And he spent most of the time down the seg block. Now again, this is my opinion. That's his own fault because he made those choices. I don't think he can handle being in a normal location with all the other prisoners. Whether that's due to mental health issues or something else. So over the decades, Bronson's been involved in 9 siege situations and taken 11 hostages. One was a 48-hour situation with an education advisor called Phil Danielson, who dared to criticise a piece of his artwork. The others have been doctor, librarian, prison staff, other inmates, and at one point even his own solicitor. Probably his most infamous situation, I don't know. Now, we do know that he does have mental health issues, and he spent time within Rampton, Broadmoor and Ashworth high security hospitals over the 48 years, and that's not been for no reason either. There are plenty of mainstream media stories about Bronson, his relations with women, his long lost son, but to name a few. Personally, I still don't understand the fascination with him, or this Free Bronson campaign, when we know he could have been out years ago if it not been for his own actions. I mean, a man as intelligent as what Bronson comes across, why didn't he work out sooner to conform to prison life, and his freedom would have been granted a long time. Last year, Charles Bronson managed to secure a High Court bid to get his next parole board meeting held in public. And from reports, I believe this will be coming up soon, and that he thinks there's a good chance that he could be released. Now, we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. Personally, I'm not sure he could survive or adapt to the big wide world now. So where do you put him if he is fit for release? Is he even ever going to be fit for release? We'll see. As always, thumbs up if you're enjoying the content, hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything, and share. And also remember, we've got our social media pages, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. Come and find us.